Hello guys, I'm back.
So I know what you guys are going to be thinking of that WTF intro there. You haven't been anywhere, you absolute freak of nature. And you're right, I haven't been anywhere. But I haven't made a video for a couple of weeks now, and I've been watching more and more Halloween things be released, and I've been dying to really have a real good in-depth look at some of these things and have a little conversation with some of you guys. So about a week ago, one of the big names when it comes to Halloween animatronics and props, Home Depot, released a sneak sort of leaked pictures of their entire Halloween animatronic range. Now, the sad bit of news that I always have to sort of put alongside things like this is we don't get Home Depot in the UK, nor do we get Spirit, Halloween, neither do we get Lowe's, neither do we get Target. We don't get any of those cool stores that sell brilliant Halloween animatronics and props in general, unfortunately. But, like always, some of these things do eventually filter down into the UK. Sometimes it takes a year or two before that happens, but they do eventually come our way. So it's still really good to watch these things, because even if we can't get our hands on these things straight away, it's kind of fun to see what might come our way in the near future. So, without any further ado, let's just have a little look at what we're talking about here. So as far as I'm aware when it comes to this stuff, there hasn't been any videos or anything, so we aren't watching anything to react to as such. We're just having a quick look at the pictures. And the first picture we're going to be having a look at is the thing that really got tongues wagging in the haunted community if you're into your animatronics and stuff. And that was the leaked pictures of a 12-foot werewolf. So in the leaked picture, this one in particular, you just kind of see a great big tall animatronic werewolf. He clearly looks like his eyes must be LCD, I'm going to guess, because they've got that flat black screen look. He's got torn clothes, very tall obviously. It looks like he must growl or something, the jaw moves. The only negative, and this is a negative that's been brought up before, is that he looks a bit plasticky. He's clearly made out of plastic. They didn't want to cover him in real fur. I'm guessing that might be like something to do with a weatherproofing of it, because obviously if it was covered in fur, it would really probably not survive weather. But I could be wrong, I don't know, maybe it was just to make it cheaper, I'm not sure. But either way, if you're into your big animatronics, he is definitely very impressive. Yeah, but I'm not so sure I'm that sold on him. The next picture is of Oogie Boogie, and it's at life size. It doesn't say the actual dimensions. I think it's probably going to be about 6 foot. It's really cool. It glows, obviously. It looks like it lights up entirely inside. And I'm guessing he must say a few lines because the mouth looks like it moves. If you like your Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, which I kind of do, he would really go down well in any horn. But I'm not so sure. Again, he's not really the sort of thing I'm going to be going for. The next prop that we've got just describes itself as a 12-foot witch. Now, she's clearly hanging free in the air off the side of a broomstick that's holding her down to the ground. That in itself kind of looks really cool. I'd be interested to see what else she did or said or anything else like that. Or whether it's just one of those props that sort of moves in the wind. I'm not quite sure. It says that she's 12 foot. I don't know whether that's true. It's hard to tell from the picture, but I do like a witch prop, and she does look quite cool. Sticking with the witch theme, you've got the 5'5" witch and cauldron prop, which we've all kind of seen before. We've seen this in many different formats. I myself have a Costco witch that stirs a cauldron, and this is just the same sort of thing. 2 witches clearly stirring a cauldron. I'm guessing the logs under the fire, under the cauldron sort of light up. They look on the creepier end of the scale of witches, but I'm guessing their eyes light up and they talk, probably talking about what they're putting in the cauldron. So it's the sort of thing we've all seen before, but still kind of cool. Then we've got the 15-foot graveyard phantom that glows. Now, When I saw this was exactly the sort of thing I love in a horn. I've got the Wailing Phantom that Costco brought out in the UK last year. And this makes me wish that I hadn't bothered and got this instead, if it was ever available in the UK, that is. I mean, 15 foot in itself is a ridiculous height. I don't know whether that's something it extends up to. It kind of looks like it might kind of jump up or something. I'd be interested to see if that's true. But just the fact that it's that height and it's clearly lit up and glowing and its eyes are lit up and glowing, whatever it did in my eyes would be pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a really good one. Then you've got a Reaper that looks as though he's about 6 foot in height, which is a good height for a prop. I think this is based on a Reaper that Home Depot actually brought out last year. I heard someone saying in another forum that it's the same Reaper just with a red cloak on rather than a black cloak on. Though I have to say, I really like the red cloak, as simple a change as that is. I really like that. I like the scythe he's carrying. Scythe he's carrying. I'd be interested to hear what he actually said, because I do love a Reaper, like I like a Phantom, Ghost, and I also like Witches. Then you've got one of the slightly funnier, kookier props. This is the 4 foot animated Goblin Thief, who kind of looks a bit tacky, if I'm honest with you. He clearly is pulling a skeleton or a skull up and out of that bag, and I'm guessing he probably says something hilarious as well. Kind of looks like a really bad rip-off of a Yoda. But it's kind of funny in his own right, and I'm sure, you know, he's only 4 foot, so I'm sure it's the sort of thing, as long as he wasn't overly expensive, that most people would find room for in a haunt. Then you've got the 6 foot Lurching Witch. Again, I like witches. This one clearly lurches forward and says something a bit spooky and creepy, trying to scare kids. But to be honest, she's quite basic looking. Like, the hat looks a bit kind of cheap, and the outfit looks a bit cheap and nasty, and the hands, the plastic they're made of, looks a bit cheap and nasty. So she definitely wouldn't be a witch I would be considering. Next, you've got the 6 foot Undead Bartender. Which, again, I'd be interested to see what his action actually is. He clearly looks like he's pouring a drink of some description. I like the overall look. I don't know where you would put such an animatronic in a haunt. I'm not quite sure. I suppose if you had a cocktail party. I mean, I do sometimes do a cocktail party for my guests and stuff. So maybe he would fit in with that kind of thing. But I'm not so sure, other than that, how he would fit into most people's haunt. But he's an interesting prop nevertheless, and I'd be very interested to hear what he has to say when we actually see some videos. Next, we've got the 6 foot Faceless Scarecrow, which, by the looks of it, is a scarecrow. You can clearly see that, and it looks like he obviously brings his arms in to grab anything that comes a bit close to him. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of different. I can't remember ever seeing anything like that, but you know, my knowledge of animatronics doesn't go back very far, so you know, if you've seen a prop like that before, don't be scared to tell me. Next, I don't think this is an animatronic, this is just a prop. 8 foot stack of lanterns, kind of cool. I mean, I don't think it'd be something I'd be spending an awful lot of money on unless it talked or did something really awesome, but it's definitely a cool prop, and the fact it's 8 foot high is kind of interesting. Next is this LED coffin, which is really, really cool. I think it's cool because it allows you to have a bit of imagination and put something in that, a skeleton, a vampire, a mummy, anything you really wanted to, a zombie. I'm guessing what makes this animatronic is the fact the lid flips open and shut. I could be wrong. It could just be a static prop. I'm not sure. It just says that it's a 6 foot coffin. So I honestly don't know, but I do like the look of it, and it does look really cool. Next is what's called the Malevolent Wizard. And you don't see many wizard props. You see lots of witch props, but not as many wizard props. This guy looks really, really good. I really like him. I like the staff. I like the crystal ball. I'm guessing that lights up. The beard looks really cool. I love the outfit too. The purple and blue, kind of like shiny satin kind of finish. Doesn't look like a cheap prop. Looks like a pretty cool prop. Again, I'd be interested to hear what he has to say. Next is a clown. Of course there's a clown. This one is Firkus the Clown, 6 foot high. Now, I have to say, I don't usually like clowns. I usually steer clear of clowns. I don't like clowns, I've said this before. But I quite like this clown, in a weird way. He kind of looks a bit V for Vendetta-ish, in a kind of way. It must be the outfit. It's not the usual clown made to look scary. This looks like a guy dressed as a clown, sort of really about to tear up town. You know what I mean? He kind of looks V. I love V for Vendetta, and when I saw him, I was like, wow, it looks like V from V for Vendetta. So yeah, kind of cool. Never thought I'd say that about a clown prop, but there you go. Next is called the Creepy 5-foot Skeleton Creeper, which I think it's self-explanatory. It's clearly a skeleton creeping along the ground. He's got LCD eyes. I'm gonna guess his mouth moves too, and he says some things. But if I'm honest with you, there's more interesting skeleton props available on the market, and that would be one I wouldn't consider. And then the last one, the last one is just a pumpkin head. Looks like a million different pumpkins I've seen before. It's kind of cool. It's obviously of the sort of on the rotten looking end of the spectrum, with a cool green light lighting up. There's no dimension, so I have no idea how big or small this is, but it does look pretty awesome, to be fair, and I would again it's something I would consider if it appeared on the UK market. So that was just my quick review of those leaked Home Depot props and animatronics. I honestly think that most of them are pretty awesome. I know, like, when you watch I've seen YouTube videos where they've sort of briefly spoken about some of these props and animatronics, and usually listening to Americans, they're always quite kind of like, it's not as good as in past years, it's not as good as I've seen before, some of these things I've seen before, some of these things just look like rehashed things, and you know, and it's not that impressive, Home Depot's kind of cheap, blah, blah, blah. But sitting here in the UK, where we have about 4 shops where you can, not even that, like 2 shops really, high street shops, stores where you can go and see animatronics, and they're always on a really small scale. I'm like, you guys, you just don't appreciate what you've got. I'm not that angry about it, but I just feel like saying, you know, you are so lucky, you guys in the US, that you have the options. You know, I know animatronics and props and stuff are not for everyone, and lots of people like to build their own stuff, and so do I, and that's great. But at least you have the option. At least if you go, do you know what my haunt's missing? A 12-foot skeleton. You can go down to a Home Depot, probably one of about 10 in your local area, and find that skeleton and put him in your garden and blow everyone's mind. And that, for us here in the UK, is not an option. If you don't pre-order well in advance, you just do not get stuff. And we just don't have those same options. The stock quantity is not there. The range is not there. We really are lucky to get what we get. So you guys appreciate Home Depot a bit more than you do, because I see them props and I'm impressed. I like pretty much everything I saw there. So yeah, sorry telling you off. Appreciate Home Depot. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.